places that you pass when you're rushing through on the main roads, and you maybe notice a name on the signpost and you think, wonder what that's like. Well, in this series I'm obviously giving you a taster of what some of those places are like, in the hope that you'll maybe go and have a look at them for yourselves. Then you really will discover you didn't know them. But I hope after seeing some of my videos you might know them a little. Anyway, here we are, we're back in Chiddingly, and I hope you enjoy the second and final part of this little story. Well, I'm not going to go in there, but there is the village hall, and as I often try and do, I'm going to try and get a bit of the sunrise for you. There we are. How's that? Because if I come out into the bright sun, that's going to be too much, I think. Chiddingly Parish Church is somewhat unusual. It's not dedicated to anybody, and its earliest origins are at least 12th century, with some later additions. The tower here is 15th century from what I have been able to find out before coming out filming. What is unusual is the stone spire, and that's only one of 3 in Sussex as far as I can make out, looking rather splendid with the sun rising against it and the clock showing the wrong time. Anyhow, I can go and take a closer look. I feel in many ways as though I shortchange you by not being able to go inside the church, because I'm sure there's lots of interesting things to see inside there. Now I know John Jeffrey, there's a monument or mausoleum to him in the church here. I've no idea whereabouts, more than likely inside. Here of course is the war memorial. A very simple but sincere affair. And the doorway. It looks a bit like a Norman arch, doesn't it? Which would suggest an origin a little bit older than the 12th century, closer to the latter end of the 11th century. But you can see very clearly the difference in the stonework used. I mean, that's probably sandstone in the tower, and there we have the original flint work in the original part of the church. So very definite contrast there. So often we go into these church entrances through brick, brick, wood, but this is unusual, walking in through stone. And you can immediately feel the centuries fall away as you walk in. There's some nice woodworking up there. Wonder how old those beams are. And the door. Probably not an old door as far as doors go. I don't know if it is open. No, I didn't expect it would be. Some nice ironwork here. Often makes me wonder with these hinges whether they are products of the local iron industry. this one, maybe even if it's of an age, could have come from Heathfield, but I think that's going back a bit too far. More than likely Ashburnham. But yeah, interesting. Oh, look at that. I love that kind of photo where the sun is just coming through the trees there. I don't really think there's any ways around it. Seems to be a lack of stained glass here. Let's go round the back of the tower and see how far we can get. Nice brick footpath underneath this lovely oak tree, and then this tree, because I don't know what it is. Oh look, oh, cobwebs. There's another door. Ah. I'll fall over if I'm not careful. Ooh. 2 shields on the door there, but they're so old. Can't tell at all what was on there. Do you know, it's very strange, but there's quite a chill in this churchyard. Quite surprising, considering it's a warm morning. Could it be that the heat wave is over? We don't know. I can see what we've got here. Another old doorway. Various repairs. But a definite lack of stained glass, and I don't understand it. And I really haven't been able to find out any information. I should imagine it still looks lovely inside the church though when the sun shines in through the windows, but to have a church so completely devoid of stained glass is very, very unusual in my book. So I'm trying to find a pathway round that isn't going to be treading over people's graves, because I'm going through the really old bit now. Look at this tree. Isn't that a lovely tree? I've got cobwebs all over the place, but even so, it's full of noises. Birds high up in the trees. There's a squirrel, what can I say, squirreling about somewhere. Even this window appears to have some stained glass in it, but it's difficult to see clearly through the mesh. And again, we've got things that have long since started to wear out. What a shame. Robert, son of Albert Augustus and Mary Reeves, 5 years and 4 months in 1879. Such a shame to see so many little lives snuffed out. And here is some more ironwork, and this has got to be Sussex iron. You know, I would almost certainly say that that is probably among the last products of Ashburnham. This is what they were making. There's some firebacks right the way until it closed out in the early 1800s. I can find my way back around here now. And that has been a bit of a bumpy tour round, but have I found some actual stained glass? Yes, I have. There we have two of the sort of standard stained glass panels. Probably Apostles, something like that. So there is a couple here. And I'm just going to give you another view. There's the sun on the spire of the church this morning. And those unusual turrets. I'll call them turrets. 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 Call it what you like. And another tree. Very peaceful here, but it's time to move on because I seem to be taking an awful long while walking around and nattering this morning, don't I? But I think it's just one of them days when sometimes you've just got to talk about the things you find and the things you found out, because hopefully people are going to be looking at this in 100 years time or so. This might be the only record left of what's here, and I suppose that's something which anybody who makes films needs to bear in mind. We are recording history in the now for the students and historians of the future. It's a responsibility. It's a privilege almost to be in the position to do it. And I have discovered so many things, and I hope you're enjoying coming on my adventures with me. But right now, we move on. Muddles Green, yet another part of Chiddingly as we travel round, and I'm just looking on the corner there. There is the Jubilee Cottages. There you go, Jubilee Cottage. 18... stand still. 1887. Do you know, you think you're holding the thing straight, but you're not, are you? It's about that. Yes. That must have been Queen Victoria's Jubilee. When did she come to the throne? 1837? Something like that. So maybe that was her. Or 1847? I wonder which Jubilee that was. Look, why should I do all the work? You go and have a look. Find out for yourselves. I mean, that is partly why I do what I do. And it's not to tell you everything. I try and find out a bit of information before I come out and hope I can remember it. But I just want to encourage you to find out more for yourself if you've been interested in what I've said and the places I've been. But, funnily enough, Chiddingly School, the primary school, is in what is known as Muddles Green. It all gets very complicated. But here's the date on the school. It was built in 1906. There we are. So we've done Holmes Hill, and we're going to go through Muddles Green now, and I'm going to be heading out up. I'm going to do a little circuit and then come back to Muddles Green. So I'll be covering Scrapers Hill, Stone Hill, Pick Hill, Gun Hill and Thunder Hill, all in that one little circuit. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, which leaves Burke Hill. Yep, that's it. Off we go. Just doing this as a bit of a drive-by to save time. This is Farley House and Gallery. This is where the Chiddingly Archive, Museum and Gallery is held. Rather unusual. And it's also where they have a little village shop and cafe. They also have another one up at the Chiddingly place, so the villagers do get access to a shop, which is rather nice, full of local produce. And now we're going to go off up Scrapers Hill. Well, we crossed over the Bull River, which is a tributary of the Cuckmere, and we've come up Scrapers Hill, and we've come up to Howe Farm, which I had to stop and show you because this is quite a magnificent building. Tudor, would you say? Got that kind of hallmark to it, hasn't it? But again, because it's residence, I can't go too close in, and I'm sorry if the sun is discolouring the film of it, but what a lovely building. Hopefully I can get I really don't want to disturb people's privacy, so I'm having to be very, very careful. Oh look, that's an interesting feature on the side there. So I hope nobody's wandering around, but that's as much as I would dare photograph for you this morning. But Howe Farm, very interesting. Well, I am now at what I really came to see this morning. And look at the age of this. I've come down the other side of Scrapers Hill, and I'm now at Stone Hill. And here is one of the oldest buildings in the area. I hope the people won't mind me coming up to the gate. I am filming from the road, but I would just like to film that for you there. And that's as much as I will do to respect their privacy. This building's 600 years old. J.M. Barrie lived here for a while, the man who wrote Peter Pan, and in, I guess it must be the late 70s, Rick Wakeman, keyboard man, Keith Emerson, that's it, of the Nice, had the property for 20 years or so. But it is certainly one of the oldest buildings in the area, and I don't actually know whether it's occupied at the moment. I'm guessing it is, because everything is locked up although there's no real sign of life but a couple of open windows, and that's why I don't want to get any closer. But interesting designs. Lions and crowns. I don't know how long they've been here. I should imagine they're a recent-ish addition. But anyway, Stone Hill. And we're in deepest Sussex here. Well, you would think so, wouldn't you? Once again, we are not that far off the main road networks, but it's another place you didn't know you didn't know. Stone Hill. Now we've seen Chiddingly Parish Church, and the Church of England tended to have large-ish churches which would cover a whole parish. Then along come the Nonconformists, the Methodists, the Baptists, that sort of thing. And excuse me, they would establish themselves smaller buildings in various places around the parish, usually in each of the settlements. Well, we're up at Pick Hill now. We're getting through the Seven Hills, and this is the Ebenezer Strict Baptist Chapel and private cemetery. It's locked, so I can't go in. That obviously, oh, can you see what I see? Let me just, good morning, Peter Rabbit. Where are you? There you are. He's looking at me very carefully. Look at his ears. Bless him. And off he goes. The as I say, the shape is a typical shape of the Nonconformist chapels. Very often they were known as tin tabernacles or wooden tabernacles. Made of corrugated iron, a lot of them, or wooden frame. But this one appears to have been quite extensively modernised. And I guess, you know, the way this is paved over, there's still enough people to support it. And that's a good thing. Well, there's that horrible word again. I've been up the top of Pick Hill. Unfortunately, every place where I might have got some good film of the view across towards the downs was just too dangerous to park, and the nearest place was too far away to walk back. So we missed out on that one. But I'm just wandering down now. We are now in Gun Hill, where there's a large car park, because the pub at Gun Hill, the Gun, is still a very, very popular establishment. Another use for a K6 telephone box, another defibrillator. This is a good idea, this. Electric, now this is what you don't see very often. I personally don't think electric cars are the way forward. It's a total waste of time, a total waste of money. We've got to develop hydrogen, to my opinion, because that's the only thing I can see that's going to be capable of doing the job we need it to. But yes, here is the Gun Inn. Very popular place. And I think they've got their own brewery, because the Gun Brewery is just down the road. I haven't been out here for years. It must be about 20 years since I've been here for a drink. Really must do something about that. Anyway, that's the Gun Inn. People are starting to wake up now. That's about, what, 7, something like that. And I'm in the woods. And the sun is coming up. Well up now. But I think I might have found a place that I can safely film a view from. But everybody's starting to get up now, so good job I've nearly finished. I'm going to come into this field and just stand at the entrance, because this is what Sussex is all about. Looking over towards the South Downs there, looking towards Lewis, I'm guessing, yep, would be. And there's a house just tucked in there. See that? Nice, isn't it? This is what summer is about. But you know, you've really got to get up early in the morning to find it. It's alright, my curiosity is getting the better of me. I spotted something over there. But it wasn't what I thought it was. No. And I can already hear the dull thud of gunshot. Yep. So the hunters are out after presumably deer or pheasant. But anyway, that's the view across the fields this morning. Love those countryside smells. Now I've just stopped here because this is one of the entrances to what is now known as Peaks. And this is probably Peaks Manor, one of the oldest buildings in the area. Can't get anywhere near it, I'm afraid, but this is one of the old gatehouses to it. The main building itself dates back to 1470. There is another entrance which I'm going to go down in a minute. But I still don't think I'm going to get anywhere near to the house, so I thought at least you could see one of the old entrances. And we've crossed the Bull River again somewhere, I'm sure of it, but I haven't seen a bridge or anything. Oh well. And that is the main, I suppose you'd call, visitor entrance to it now, which is physically as close as I'm able to get. Because it's private property, I know the gates are open, but especially at this time of the morning, that doesn't give me the right to go in there and film it. Once I get past any gates like that, I no longer have the legal right to film. I can film from here because it's a public road, and that's about it. I don't have permission to go in. I wish I did. 600-year-old building or more, 800 years old now, 1470. But anyway, that's Peaks, and you can go and stay there if you've got the money. And here we are, as promised. back in Muddle's Green for part 2, having done Scrapers Hill, Stone Hill, Pick Hill, Gun Hill and Thunders Hill, all in a circuit. And came back here because, again, you've got to be so damn careful. I can't get a good angle for filming. I will try, but I've got to be careful because these are people's houses. That is quite an interesting old building there. Just tucked away. And another one there. Now, I've been looking for the chapel in Muddle's Green, but haven't found it yet. Might do on the way down, but this is the building that I'd particularly come to see. It's got a barber's pole sticking out of it, or what appears to be a barber's pole. But then, when closed, call at the house for attention. Now, let me stand back here. Let's try and get it all in. I am looking at that building, and what I'm seeing is a toll house. Because I'm even more convinced now that the old turnpike road from Battle to Ringmer, which again I will be talking about in a later video. This is crazy, isn't it? I'm filming after I've done that one, but we won't be going out in the same order. I'm sure this would have been on that old turnpike, which then crossed the London to Eastbourne Road at Golden Cross, and then found its way round to Ringmer that way, because I mean it's been a long time since the turnpikes were first introduced, and I'm pretty sure that not all of the turnpikes by any means were turned into modern roads, and a lot of them must be now left to farmland. And of course, all the different turnpike trusts that exist would probably have had their own section of road. So each time you moved, and I'm only guessing, from one toll road to another, you would have paid another toll. I have tried to find out a bit about this building, and I've come to nothing. And guess what? Look at this. I had no idea, did I? There's me talking about toll house, and what did this say? Toll house. If I'd have took a closer look. Anyway, why should I be worried? Because at least it shows that I've got an idea of what these things are, and it shows how much I'm learning on my way round, and I'm beginning to learn to recognise different types of buildings and what they might have been used for. But that's quite something to actually find that as a toll house. And yes, pretty damn sure now this was on the turnpike road. Goodness knows where it went that way. Not even going to guess. Would it have gone up Scrapers Hill? Probably not. But there might have been another turnpike up that way. The turnpike network, something I need to look at very carefully in the future if I have the time. But anyway, I must move on. I've got one more hill, and then Chiddingly is done. So we'll leave you with another view of the toll house. Well, as I came by, I see the farmers are up and about. Cows need milking, silage needs getting in. And we're up at, I don't know whether you call it Berg or Burr or Borough, whichever way you like to pronounce it. But we're on the last of the 7 hills of Chiddingly, Burr Hill, Borough Hill. It rises up there, and it descends down that way. You know, there's that strange blue car again. It follows me everywhere, doesn't it? And there's some lovely farmyard smells. And I think this will be a good point to end my tour round this morning. We have, with one exception, Deanland Wood, covered almost every inch of the parish of Chiddingly. And I hope you've enjoyed this little tour round, and the use in places you didn't know you didn't know. So goodbye till the next one.